Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's Unstoppable Friday. I am incredibly excited to have you here. On this channel, I help SaaS founders like you navigate the path to the next stage of growth, navigate the path to your next stage of revenue, funding, and product market fit. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you get notified every single time I drop an episode like this with the TK energy. Now, for those of you that are already part of the community, welcome back. Really excited to have you here. So as you may know, if you're already part of the community, on Fridays, I do a slightly different format. Every Sunday and Wednesday, I bring you more of an instructional video on like how to attack a certain aspect of SaaS growth. On Fridays, I take you behind the scenes. I take you behind the scenes on a SaaS business that myself and my co-founder are building, and we're essentially taking this a 1 million ARR challenge. This 1 million ARR challenge is something that we also do inside of SaaS School altogether with all the founders that I coach. We're taking our businesses from whatever revenue you're at right now to 1 million ARR through an unstoppable sales funnel, through an unstoppable strategy. That's what we do. And on Fridays, I take you behind the scenes to show you exactly what we're doing to actually grow a real SaaS business that I'm running. So in today's episode, well, in prior episodes, let's cover that real quick. In prior episodes, we've gone through how I came up with the idea. We've gone through how we're building out our unstoppable sales funnel. We've gone through how we figured out our ICP. So you can check out those episodes. I'll link to that playlist below so you can see all those episodes. In today's episode, we actually want to dig in a little bit into activation. So as you might know, if you are building a SaaS business, there's essentially a lot of work that you do around your go-to-market, which is how do you actually attract the right people? How do you get them to discover you, understand what you do, pay attention, and actually get into your product? And then there's a whole set of things you have to do around your product strategy. Your product strategy is something where you think about what features you have, what the core loops are people actually getting use out of the product, are they coming back? And then you also think about your market strategies. So there's market strategy, product strategy, go-to-market strategy. We cover all three of these in this channel, inside of SaaS School in depth. Today I want to talk a little bit around the product strategy. And specifically, I want to talk a little bit around our activation loop and our core loop, because if you can get that working properly, then you know that you can actually spend more money up top to acquire more users and more customers, and you know they'll stick around because they get the right value from the product. And in the early days, which is where we are, it's kind of both. You got to operate both levers. You got to ship code to improve the product as quickly as possible. And you also have to be closing deals. You have to keep engaging in customer conversations. You need to operate both levers. So today I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on our activation loop and our core loop. Now, for context, for those of you that don't know about the business, essentially, I'm building out a business called Unstoppable Sunday and Unstoppable Life School. So SaaS School is where we actually run a coaching program for founders to go ahead and accelerate their path to product market fit, to the next stage of growth. Life School is something that I run. I'm very passionate about. It's about adopting the right mindset every Sunday and in your life to go after some of your most outrageous goals. So it started off with me writing my manifesto. I wrote an entire book. It's an Amazon bestseller. We've sold over 4,000 copies of it and more selling every week now, which is awesome. And then it turned into a full SaaS product and a training program, essentially Life School. It's a set of skills that they should have taught you in third grade, but they don't. So that's what the product is. You can go check it out at unstoppablesunday.com. It all starts with spending 30 minutes every Sunday to get the right mindset to plan your week. And then from there, we teach you additional skills on time management, creating a life plan. It's a full program, but it all starts with Sunday. So that's what the product is. And when you get into the product, we teach you how to plan your week every week, how to get the right mindset, how to punch those Sunday jitters in the face. So that's what it's all about. Now, in terms of how we're tracking the progress of this business, we use this core spreadsheet. This is something we give you inside the program as well. And every week we check what we're doing in terms of acquisition, and we also look at what we're doing in terms of activation. And today I want to talk a little bit around activation. That's really what I want to focus in on, because what we've been noticing is, we have been migrating people from our legacy app, which is kind of like a weird Firebase app, to our proper SaaS application. We've been acquiring more users, and little by little we're starting to grow the revenues, and little by little we're starting to get more people to activate. And we noticed that in terms of activation, we really needed to tweak how we look at things. So let me explain. The way the app works essentially is you sign up over here. So you basically sign up. Then we say, okay, cool, you're almost set up. Let's like set up a password for your account. And we give them a little bit of a background of how this whole method works and how the app works. And then we take them into the app. And then once you're in the app, we then kind of do whatever is necessary to actually make you keep coming back. So we've been tracking how things have been going. And this is what I want to call our version 1 of our app metrics. We started with a very simple version, which was, okay, let's track how many people are signing up. Let's also track how many people are practicing Sunday, which is they are actually spending the 30 minutes to plan their week using our application. And then how many people are returning. And overall, things have been pretty good. We've started to see a steady uptick on number of people returning. We're starting to see a steady uptick on the number of people that are practicing Sunday. And we're also seeing a steady uptick on number of people that are signing up for the app. And not just over here, but also through some of our other acquisition funnels that we have. We have this one unstoppable sales funnel. I'll cover it in a future episode in depth as it starts to come together. But let's focus on activation today. So overall, these were trending well. But what we wanted to know was like, all right, what do we tweak? What's the core loop that we tweak, right? So we started measuring these metrics, and they're going up. But we had more questions. We were like, okay, is it the new users that are activating properly? Are the returning users actually activating? There's also this other phenomena we've seen with the app where people will come in and they'll watch the full training video because we collect stats around this, but they won't necessarily write stuff down in the app. Some people prefer to write down in their notebook, or they don't want to write down, they just want to go through the process, but they still use the app. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So we wanted to understand how many people are writing versus watching the training versus not. So the reason we do this, the reason we check this, you'll notice this, we do this on a weekly cohort basis where every week we're looking at how this thing's looking and how this thing's operating. The reason we do it this way is because we want to understand when we ship features, when we ship a certain code, is the activation metrics actually going up? If it's not, then it's not worth it. And for us, it's like, let's not add any more features until this core loop where someone comes in and practices Sunday and then comes back again and practices Sunday and comes back again and practices Sunday. Until we get that core loop going, that addictive loop going, nothing else matters. We shouldn't add any other fancy features. This is something that we teach inside of the school much more in depth, because when you start to incorporate this discipline, what ends up happening is you stop thinking you're one more feature away from going crazy. What you start to understand is a great product is about loops. And so we know what our loops are, right? So we started saying, okay, this is how, let's not do that. This is essentially how we're measuring acquisition and activation and retention. Let's make sure that we're driving activation. This is what matters the most. It's not about more features. More features are not going to drive activation. We need to make sure that people get what they're doing. So, which is why we're actually creating a version 2 of our metrics over here. We're going to start tracking this. So Steven and I just brainstormed about this. We're creating a version 2, and the way the version 2 is going to work is we're going to separate out our activation metrics based on new users and returning users, because we want to understand how many of the new users are jumping right into it and how many of the returning users are actually engaging and actually practicing Sunday. This is our loop. This is what matters. Nothing else matters. They just need to practice Sunday. That's the one core unit atomic metric. And so we are now going to be tracking, and this is not all fully backfilled, so we'll have to fix this properly. We're going to look at how many new users came, how many new users watched the Sunday training video inside of the app, and how many new users actually practice Sunday by writing into the app. We're going to separate that out, because what we realized was people on a desktop would come on and type a lot, but people on a mobile phone are coming on and actually just watching the training and doing their thing, and they're not typing in the mobile phone, and that's okay. We don't care. We just want them to practice Sunday. That's how they get the value. The writing is an added feature, interestingly enough. So we're going to track how many of the new people are actually activating in that way, either watching the video or writing or both. And we're going to also look at how many people are returning and then practicing Sunday, either through the video or writing or both. And we're going to track this week after week. And what we're going to do is, based on the data that we see, based on the mobile, whether the behavior is different between mobile and desktop, whether it's different between a user and a returning user, we can then decide what features or code to ship to actually strengthen that core product loop. Does that make sense? You guys getting this? So our natural inclination would be, let's put more dollars in, let's get more users in. We're like, no, let's keep this steady. These are small numbers, right? Our goal is to scale this to 1 million. We're like very tiny right now. And what's not shown here is we do have 3K of ARR that came through other means that we're migrating into this core application. So this is super tiny numbers, but the point here is if you can get the foundation right, then you can scale it infinitely. That's the beauty of this kind of SaaS business. So we're being very pedantic about how do we get this core loop working, because we know that once we get that core loop working just in the right way, everything else becomes 10 times easier. We know we can spend a lot more money up top to drive our unstoppable sales funnel, to get a lot more people in, and they'll activate and they'll convert. That's the power of this. So that's how we're going to be tweaking our metrics and driving towards activation. The other thing we have a hunch on that we're going to experiment is right now, the way it works, let's actually go over here, is basically you sign up over here, and you can sign up also, just go to unstoppablesunday.com, you can sign up and start practicing Unstoppable Sunday every week so you can plan your week. I do this all the time. This is what gives me my energy and certainty and the way I drive raw execution. This is how I do it. This mindset is super important for us founders, which is how I developed this method. And then they kind of go into this page where it's like, oh, set up your account, you're almost ready to go. What we're thinking is we're going to actually add a short video over here to drive the activation a little bit more. We're going to add a little video here like, hey, you just signed up for Unstoppable Sunday. I'm really excited for you. Here's how the method works. You're going to set up your account, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Either over here or when they get into the app, like the first time they get into the app, we may show that video. So that's something that we're going to probably put in to improve these activation numbers even more. We want 90% of the people that are signing up to actually practice their first Sunday. We also want to make it where, look, you may be signing up on a Tuesday. You don't need to wait till Sunday to practice Sunday. Just do it right now. It's fine. So we're going to be tweaking that to drive activation a little bit more. And the beauty of this is we're only doing things, only shipping code that are going to increase our activation, not try to expand our footprint, because we know what our core loop is. The other thing that we're also going to be doing in the coming weeks that we just planned is, at the end of the day, we want to drive this addictive loop, right? Like the addictive loop that people essentially have is they discover what we are. They discover that, oh, I get the Sunday scaries, or I get the Sunday jitters, or I get anxiety, and I want to plan my week, and I don't want to escape. Then they discover us, and then they discover the app, or our book, or our manifesto, right? And then they sign up. Once they sign up, we really want them to practice Sunday. And then once they practice Sunday, we want to remind them about what they committed to in practicing Sunday and planning their week. And then what we want them to do is go back and practice Sunday. And then we want to remind them to practice Sunday. And they want them to keep coming back and practicing Sunday. That's our addictive loop. And everything that we're doing right now in terms of this activation is we're focusing a lot more on this piece. Like we know how to get people to sign up. We know how to get people to discover us. We have our unstoppable sales funnel for that. We're happy with that. We don't need to scale that yet. So what we're focusing on is how do we get as many people to practice Sunday? How do we get them to come back and practice Sunday again over and over and over? So one of the things that we do inside of the app to drive this core addictive loop is we actually text them 4 times a week. So we'll text you on Monday saying, hey, I hope you have an incredible week. On Wednesday, we'll text them and say, hey, I hope you're having an incredible week. Don't forget about the goals that you set for this week. Just go check in on them and course correct. So they may not make sense anymore. They may make sense. Just check in on them so they come back into the app. On Fridays, we tell them, hey, I hope you had an incredible week. What are some wins that you had, small or big wins? So we text them on that. And then on Sunday, we say, hey, it's time to practice Unstoppable Sunday. So we're doing the texting right now to essentially bring them back into this app and drive that addictive loop. The other thing we're going to add now is an email sequence. So we still think email is super powerful. Texting is the best, but we're going to email them, especially around activation. So we're adding an email sequence where it'll educate them on this whole thing. We're going to say, hey, you just signed up for Sunday. Here's the book that explains all the principles around it. You can get a free copy of the book. By the way, if you want a free copy of the book, go to tkcater.com/book. You can get a free copy. You just have to cover the shipping costs. It's super easy. So we'll educate them more on how this works, why this works. We'll send them our manifesto. And based on that, it'll drive more activation, right? So we're going to add this email sequence so that we kind of educate them in the first few days of the app, of them joining the app and discovering the movement. So those are the 3 main things I wanted to talk through. To recap, Here's how we're tracking our core metrics. In fact, we're expanding on our core metrics to really track the right metrics. I have an entire video on how to think about SaaS metrics. I'll link to it below. So that's number one. Number two, we're adding some more things around driving more new user activation. One is email, another is a welcome video, so they really feel like at home and they feel oriented. And we're tracking those metrics to make sure that we're going in the right direction. So that's what I wanted to show you. I hope you got value from this. By the way, if you are building a SaaS business and you want to follow our methodology for building an unstoppable sales funnel, for driving to $1 million ARR and beyond, if you're already $1 million ARR, the next inflection point is $3 million ARR. Principles are very similar. We have a lot of people that are past $1 million ARR and we're helping them scale faster. So check out my SaaS go-to-market program. Inside that program, I actually work directly with founders like you to adopt all these principles that I teach in this channel, but you get real training. We actually give you the templates. We give you group coaching calls, all of it. So it's an incredible program. It's a ton of fun to run. We have incredible founders as part of it. So join us if you are in this journey and want to do it with us. My intention for doing these Friday videos is to give you a behind the scenes view of how we go about actually growing a SaaS business. So if you want to do this our way, join us and join the program. You can go to tkcater.com/GTM for details on that, or just follow the link below as well. Also, if you are a founder, 50% of this game is getting your mindset right. Honestly, like that's what I learned in scaling ToutApp and working at Marketo as a senior vice president. And even all my business, mindset is half the battle. And you can raise millions of dollars in funding, but it doesn't come with the mindset. And if you don't have the mindset, you won't be able to execute. And this is why I created my life school program. This is why I created Unstoppable Sunday. So if you want to get your mindset right as a founder, I'm very passionate about this. In case you can't tell, it's passionate enough where I created an entire business around it to serve people and to help people discover this. Go to unstoppablesunday.com and just practice Unstoppable Sunday. Just start there, and then you can kind of grow from there. Lastly, I bring you a video like this 3 times a week. So if you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you got value from this video, please smash that like button. If you have a friend that would get value from this video, please share it with them. It will mean the world to me and my team. Lastly, remember this. Everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. Also, hit that bell icon when you hit the subscribe button. I think I forgot to mention that. That's super important. That way you get notified. All right, that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I will see you in the next episode.